And that's how it's done. Day 31 is in the books. Great day, very productive day. Let's talk about it, okay? Before we do that, I'm trying to make sure my carpet doesn't fold while I roll my chair. Okay, there you go. Okay, so what did I do today? I'll say this right now. 15 for sale by owners I've contacted. Now, technically, I reached out to them, and I've only gotten a response from 2 of them right now. So I'm going to have to put them in the lead follow-up process and keep following up with them as time goes on. I developed finally an actual detailed lead follow-up system for them. So within 4 days, I'm going to go ahead and give them a follow-up call just to ask them, what's the traffic looking like? Have you gotten any offers? Have you hosted any open houses? And, what's your situation? So that's going to be day 4. That will be on Friday when I reach out to those for sale by owners. And guess what? I learned something that I actually think is going to be much more suitable for me, my style, and is just going to be so much easier for me to do. Texting. Tyler and I talked about it today. Texting is the number one contact that I'm going to be making as the initial reach out. It is no longer calling right off the blue, because when you text people and you try to make it as valuable as possible, you're respecting their time, and it's so much easier for you to come off less pushy. And let's say you meet people who say, thank you for not, trying to be pushy and trying to compliment or, trying to flatter me, right? So that's why I'm making sure that if people do end up saying that, that's when I'm calling with them, following up with them, and really opening to starting a relationship, because they already were grateful for the info I given them. And it's going to work like a charm. So I reached out to 15 today. And I will go ahead and reach out to another 15 tomorrow, 15 the day after that, 15 the day after that. I do not have a set map of where I'm looking for these people. I'm not just looking in Westfield. I'm not just looking in Indy. I'm looking as down south as Columbus and Brown County, all right? So I'm going everywhere for these for sale by owners. Now, people would tell me that's not a good thing because you don't want to stick to one location, and I agree. Your brand needs to be under one location, but it's important that I maximize the map that I have, and honestly, I don't really have a say in what opportunities I have. I got to take everything I can get, right? So it was great to reach out to those people. I also finally made my social media video. I made my social media video on when is the best time to buy. And long story short, I said the best time to buy is when it's best suitable in your life. Like, is buying a home feasible for your financial future and just your future in general? Because here's the thing. The market changes all the time. Experts will suggest that markets change, and there's really no such thing as a better or worse market for real estate. It's simply a symptom of what's going on. With that being said, let me stop talking philosophically and let me get straight to the point. If rates go up, if mortgage rates increase, that means that homes are going to be more affordable. That means there's going to be less people buying, right? So that means there's more scarcity in the market. But if rates go down, then that means that there's more buyers coming in. That means you have to negotiate better. That means that you have to be able to actually, have stronger offers for your buyers, because those homes are going to be selling very fast. So there's a pro and con to every market. You just got to know what those are, and then just seeing is it the right time for me to buy? Because like I said before, it's always going to change, and it's not going to be better than the other. Okay? Because you could say, well, lower rates are better for buyers. Well, not if you have to make stronger offers and you're already paying more to begin with, right? That is something I didn't know when I got in here. So like I said before, I'm learning things every day. Now, let's talk a little bit about philosophical stuff again, because I think that stuff's fun and more interesting, and I think you guys want to talk about that a little bit more. So here's what I am going to talk about now. Let's think. I'm going to go ahead and pause it real quick. Fast forward 31 days later, I got to ask myself this question. Have I grown as a person since I've gotten here? Since I have started an entrepreneurial journey at such a young age in a new area, new city, new world, new day? Have I grown? Have I changed as a person? And to that, most people would say, yes, absolutely, I have, and not really think much about it. Let me be a little bit more aware. It feels like I have been in this battle my entire life, even though I've only been here for 30 days. It genuinely feels like this has been my life for hundreds of years. And it's crazy to think, like, it's going by so fast, but it's going by so small. And with that being said, I think I've learned a lot about myself, and it's really gotten to the point where I feel like I have grown. How have I grown? What you might ask. Well, I am a lot more insightful in the everyday behaviors I make, and I plan accordingly. On top of that, since my entire life is about me now and not about a company that I work for, I get more time to really hone in on what I want to do, and therefore, since I have more time to do these things, I catch myself in times in which I can critique myself and give myself credit where credit's due, and really find out what type of entrepreneur I am. Am I someone that's going to succeed in real estate? Am I someone who's going to, do well? Am I someone who has good mental health? You know a lot more about yourself when you make your life about you. And that sounds crazy to say because it's like, well, obviously. But when you work a full-time job, 35, 40 hours a week full-time, you don't often think too much about yourself because you're often thinking about the task, the job, what you're doing. And not to say I don't have tasks to do, but everything revolves around what I do and my skills. Okay, and people my age, and this might go into a rant, I'm going to try not for it to be. People my age have a huge issue to complain about jobs that they have and complain about crappy work when they can choose what job they want. And if they don't like the job they're in, then they simply need to have a career change. And so people only look at jobs to make money. They don't look at jobs to build careers and to actually do the things they want to do in their life. They only look at it as a paycheck. And that is a fatal problem, okay, for people my age. I mean, older people seem to understand it more because, you got to find a career at some point. And the reason why I'm getting behind this is because they always think about the money. They think about the job. And then when they're not working, they're playing video games. They're fucking smoking weed. They're doing all types of, Gen Z stuff, watching TikTok. And so they never really truly get to know what they enjoy in life because they overindulge in these very shallow pleasures in life. Like, going on dating apps, going through TikTok, scrolling through Instagram, playing games, doing the things that don't give you true satisfaction in life. And so they never really get to learn about themselves. They never really get to be insightful about their lives. And they never really get the opportunity they do have the opportunity, but they don't see the opportunity for them to live the life they want to live. And what I'm doing right now and the entrepreneurial journey that I've been having is all about that. It's all about who I am, where I want to go, and what I'm doing. I really have to sit and think, what am I doing every day that's getting closer to the goals I've already set up? I can go over my September business plan already, but I know what I need to do. I need to hit 100 plus contacts. We're going to hit that easy. Okay? We should hit that in 2 weeks from now. Okay? Because I'm contacting 15 for sell by owners every single day. Easily going to go over 100 plus new contacts. So like I keep saying, I need to be on top of who I am and be on top of my game because I am my business. And if I'm not operating well, then my business isn't going to operate well. And that's just a matter of fact. So what am I trying to get at here? I've learned a lot about myself on my work ethic. I've understood that I am hard on myself in the sense that I think I could be working more when really I'm doing more than enough to be able to become a success. I'm asking questions. I'm being engaged in the office. I'm working with successful people. I'm consistent. I am. Like, day one, I said, well, I got to do scripts every day. Like, I am doing scripts, right? I am practicing these things, and I am doing all this stuff. So I am consistent, okay? And, excuse me. Boy. So I am being consistent in these things. So I've learned a lot about myself and that I actually am a pretty awesome dude when it comes to entrepreneurship. And, if you're interested in starting your own business, one question I might want to ask is, do you think your job is the reason why you have doubts about your success? Or do you genuinely believe that you just don't have what it takes? You're probably not asking yourself that question if you're wanting to start a business. You're likely asking, of course I'm the person. Why wouldn't you think? Why wouldn't I be the person? And to that I say, from what I've talked to people about, from what I've asked many agents who have been in the industry for decades. I say, you've seen people come and go. What have you seen with these people that just leave the industry after a year, 2 years? One of them is that it's too expensive, because truth be told, real estate is a very expensive industry to be in. But it's also just winging it and not really doing the things you need to do, and not being aware and not adjusting and not, evolving and not asking questions and basically doing everything I'm not doing. And I'm not saying this to be arrogant. I'm just saying this is what I'm doing, and people are saying I'm doing the right thing. It's literally the opposite of that. And most people do that because when you start a business, okay, it's easy to get caught up thinking, I'm my own boss. That means no one's above me. I make my own hours, and I finally get the freedom. And you know what? I didn't think about that when I got in. I did not overindulge in that idea, because my thought process was, if I have a boss I love, like my leasing agent boss that I worked at my leasing job, I loved him, I wouldn't care, okay? Number two, my boss is myself, in the sense of I have an employee me and I have a boss me. That's what Steve Rupp says. And I have to employ employee me to do the job. And if you're going to say, well, you're still your own boss, how about my customers? What about my clients? Okay, they're my boss. I advise them. I take orders from them that are legally allowed, right? So you do have a boss. And it might not be in the sense of you have like one guy yelling at you, telling you to get to work, but you do have accountability. Okay, and then making your own hours is so funny, because I'll be honest with you, you can make your own hours, but you're working more than 40 hours a week. That is a fact. I work every day. Labor Day, doesn't matter. I'm still working. I'm still, reaching out to people. I'm still working on my marketing. I'm still posting my Market Mondays. I'm doing all the stuff I need to do to get done. So the difference between me and most entrepreneurs I know, at least in real estate, is that I time block and I plan and I strategize and I have a goal and I learn and I ask questions and I show up every day. I've never had a day where I wake up and I'm like, nah, I'm not going to work. I literally can't afford to do it. I have to pay rent. Okay, I have to pay stuff. I can't just not work. So, like I said before, this isn't for everybody. I'm convinced of that, but if it is for you, then this is the best industry you can get into. Now, you might want to ask, how do I know if real estate is for me? And I'll be honest with you, I can't tell you a right answer. I can just tell you what I think. I think real estate is the right industry for people if they love relationships. If you love your friends, love your family, you love making connections. You don't have to love talking to random people, because I don't. Like, I'm an introvert. If you enjoy relationships and you enjoy being around people that you love and care about, or people that you want to help, great industry to be in. If you want to strategize and make time for yourself, if you want to build a business and you want to have unlimited income potential, then this is for you. Everyone's going to say yes to that. But you have to check out all these boxes, okay? If you've proven before that you're disciplined without people telling you, not to do or to do something, and you are a self-whipping superstar in the sense that you whip yourself every time you work, in the sense of, you work without being told to, great industry for you. If you, let's see here, if you have a drive, if you have a motor and you keep staying motivated, this is for you. You notice how none of that, I didn't say anything of you have to be really good at taking the classes, you need to know a lot about real estate to begin with. No, nothing like that. Because Kyle Engel, the gentleman who won Rookie of the Year, disabled veteran, 35 years old, badass, grossed $24 million in sales volume his first year in real estate, didn't know anything about real estate before he got in. He was a disabled veteran. He had businesses, successful ones, but he didn't do real estate. And he still became successful. So you don't need to know real estate to get into real estate. That's not really the point of what I'm trying to say here. So where am I getting at in this video? I'm just telling you my insights on this business and what people have told me and really just talking about if real estate is something for everybody and what it takes to be an entrepreneur. Because now I know. I've been doing it for 30 days. And I got to give myself credit. I don't give myself credit enough. Genuinely, this is the only time I ever give myself credit. I don't talk really highly of myself every day. As a matter of fact, I always think about what I could have done that I didn't do. But in these videos, I like to talk good because no one's really watching these videos. It's just me. I got to give myself credit. I'm 22 years old, graduated college, first-gen college student, real estate license. I work in one of the richest places in Indiana, and I have strong relationships with people who make millions at 22. And some people don't even start until they're 40. Okay, so I'm 22. I'm young starting this. Imagine when I turn 25, 30. I'll be 30 and I'll be set. Now, it's easy to say that, but then you actually have to do the stuff. Thankfully enough, I am doing the stuff. And if I'm doing the wrong things, I'll learn to do the right things. And let's say worst case scenario, I have to move back with my mom. And let's say I'm not making a lot of money. I'm never giving up on this. And I'll be real with you. I don't think that'll happen. It won't. I think I'm way too disciplined, way too motivated to actually have that happen. It's just how it is. So what's the agenda tomorrow? Same thing as always. 8 to 10, 2 hours of prospecting. 15 for sale by owners. Write them down. If they respond to me as a contact, I put them in command. After that, MLS hot sheets. I have been very lazy on filling out my MLS sheets. I'm going to have to keep doing that. So that is a necessity tomorrow. Coming up with some sort of social media post. So afterwards, I'm probably going to go ahead and look for new buildings and look at model homes to just tour and just record videos on my gimbal because I need to make content every day. Otherwise, I'm not getting anywhere. And I should also really start honing in on content that's not just real estate related, so then people can actually get to know who I am. Okay, so that's it for this video. Day 31, so we're a full month done. September 3rd is tomorrow. I'm excited. Let's seize the day tomorrow, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. So, good night.